Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Blackboard Awards for Teachers. My name is Jonathan Moore. Thank you. My name is Jonathan Moore, and I'm the president of Family Media, and it is wonderful to welcome you all here this evening. For over 15 years, the Blackboard Awards have celebrated the outstanding educators, administrators, and schools that make New York City's educational system one of the strongest and most compassionate anywhere in the world. The Blackboard Awards are privileged to be supported by some truly amazing sponsors, and I would like to thank them for their support this evening. First, TF Cornerstone, the United Federation of Teachers, Smart City Kids, our hosts at NYIT, and New York Family Magazine. For those of you not familiar with the Blackboard Awards, please indulge me a bit to give you a little bit of background. The Blackboard Awards were founded in 2002 by Family Media's parent company, Manhattan Media. They accomplished two worthy goals. First, helping New York City parents make informed choices about their children's education, and honoring and celebrating schools, principals, and teachers of excellence. The awards were presided over by legendary memoirist and New York City teacher Frank McCourt, who served as Master of Ceremonies until his death. Any school in New York City, from all educational communities, public, private, parochial, charter, are eligible for Blackboard Awards. Submissions can come from anyone, but the vast majority of the submissions actually come from parents and students. We host two programs each year: our Teacher Awards, which we celebrate this evening, and our Awards for Principals in Schools, which we do in December. We have a fantastic group of educators to honor this evening, and they are presented in no particular order. And so for all of you that are looking at your program thinking that might be the order, wrong. That would be too easy. What that does mean is that the folks at the end of the program are just as deserving as the ones in the beginning. So I ask that you please stick around for the entirety of the program. We will do a group honoree shot at the end, so it's a little bit more reason for everybody to stay. Now, I will promise you that we will keep the program on time because we know some of you guys have school in the morning. Some of us have jobs. So please enjoy an evening featuring inspiring educators who make us all proud and whose dedication, actions, and commitment touch our hearts. Tonight I am joined by a number of my colleagues at Family Media, and I'd like to thank them all for their help in making this evening possible. At this time, I would like to introduce one of my co-hosts for this evening, New York Family's executive editor, Mia Weber.
Our first honoree this evening is Perry Lowry Tyson, a first grade teacher at Arts and Letters in Brooklyn. Perry believes that when teaching young learners, it is essential to build upon their natural wonder with experiences that foster a love of learning. She also believes that it is equally important to give young children the opportunity to develop a social conscience. This commitment to making school fun and inspiring while also setting her students up to be caring and empathetic as they grow manifests in her classroom as her students study community and parks, state of matter and weather, and animal diversity. During the final project for each unit, students invite their families into the classroom to share their learning through a hands-on experience that changes based on the children's interests and ideas. Please join me in welcoming Perry Lowry Tyson to accept her Blackboard Award.
Ooh, I didn't know I was going to go first. I was totally banking on the order. Thank you so much. This is such a lovely honor, and I feel really excited to be able to be a part of Arts and Letters, where I found a huge amount of inspiration to be able to let my creative interests and the children's interests drive what we do every day. And I appreciate very much the support of the people who are there when I get home at night, namely my husband, who is usually ready with a glass of wine and lets me put my feet up on the couch, and my mom and dad who came from Philadelphia to be here. So thank you so much.
Congratulations, Perry. I think maybe in more ways than one. Our next honoree is Raina Gilchrist. Raina is a 5th grade Spanish and English teacher at Avenues, the World School. This year, Raina looped with her students from last year, having taught them in 4th grade. She chose to move to 5th grade so that she could write the Spanish curriculum as the immersion program grew. Under the new curriculum, students in 5th grade are learning content every other day in the target language for the first time. Raina says that Avenues is a community that feels like a family, and it's clear that she works tirelessly every day to make sure it feels that way for her students and her colleagues as well. Please join me in welcoming Raina Gilchrist as she accepts her Blackboard Award.
So when I found out I was getting this award, I was first shocked and surprised. I had never heard of the Blackboard Awards, and I asked all of my students, they didn't know what a Blackboard was. So I'm not sure if it was any of them who nominated me, but I was also incredibly humbled because we as educators, we don't do this for the awards. We do it for that beautiful, magical moment when as a teacher you can take that step back and the kids are doing it all on their own. And that's why I teach, is for that beautiful, magical moment that happens, not every day, but when it happens, it makes every other moment totally worth it. And before I sit down, I would like to thank the people who came here today, who are very much the reasons that I teach and am here in this position that I am. I have to start with my parents, who never missed an opportunity to turn anything into a teachable moment. Asking my father, why does the straw look bent? Went into a 30-minute lecture in the middle of a diner when I was 6 and my brother was 4 about light refraction. Or my mom, the physician in the family, would, upon entering our annual doctor's appointment, took every opportunity to explain all of the apparatus in the doctor's office and what each of them did. Faye, my first head teacher, really showed me what an incredible place the classroom can be, constantly innovating every day, as it was her first year being a head teacher. Learned so much from you. Abby took a risk on me. I thought I was actually going to get fired the day that you came over to me and asked me to be a head teacher, because I had had one glass of white wine and was like, oh no, that's it, I'm fired. But I was instead promoted, and that was the best gift you could have ever given me, was taking a risk on me. Eric, and can't leave Kate out when I say Eric, I know she's here in spirit. You guys were the best mentors I could have ever dreamed of having. Any question I had, you guys just were there, 150%. Julie, my work sister, I don't know what I would do at Avenues without you. You are like my backbone. You have all the answers, and I love you. And I know there's so many. Erin, you are truly my inspiration. I sought you out knowing that you would just be able to provide endless ideas and inspiration for what I do. Evan and Jeff, you make what I do possible. You guys have created such an incredible school that gives me the freedom to feel like I can do just about anything with my students. And I usually ask for forgiveness, not for permission. So I say thank you for that now. And last but not least, my husband, who has spent many a late night and many a long weekend in Classroom 501, helping me reset up and reorganize my classroom library, go through many iterations of a project that I'm working on, even came in and taught my kids how to use Excel, which was so exciting when they said, does this mean we never have to add up numbers ever again? I love you, and I thank you so much. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Raina. You know, I always find it surprising, and yet not, when teachers are surprised that they win these awards. We've been doing this for 15 years now, and there's never been a teacher that stepped up to this podium that wasn't amazing. And we could do this every month and not run out of amazing teachers to recognize. So know that what you guys do on a day-to-day basis is that special. And we wish that we could recognize more and do this more often, but it's important for us to do that, and it's part of who we are. And so it's always an honor to do this awards program. Second thing that I'm always amazed at after 15 years is that people still don't know who the Blackboard Awards are. You guys got to share the news. Come on, we got to get this out there. This is good stuff. At this time, I would like to introduce my other co-host for this evening, New York Family's publisher, John Hurley, who will introduce our next presenter. Thank you.
For our next award, we have second grade teacher, Jill Aquila. She represents Girls Prep, Lower East Side Elementary Charter School, and is our next honoree. Jill says that her goal is to give students the tools and motivations to be successful. And in turn, she takes teaching her students to be kind and successful human beings just as seriously as teaching them academic lessons. Thank you, Jill. Jill told us a story of a student who began the year unable to write her last name. Within the year, the student improved her reading and writing skills and made 2 years' worth of growth in one. It's moments like this that keep her motivated in the classroom, and it's why we're proud to honor her tonight. Please welcome Jill.
I know no one likes a long speech, so I will try to keep it quick, but I have a lot of very important people that I need to thank. I would like to thank my parents, Kathy and Frank, for always allowing me to follow my dreams, for being amazing role models that showed me how to work hard. I would like to thank my sister Jess for always supporting me and being the best and most inclusive big sister anyone could possibly ask for. I would also like to thank my grandma for being my #1 cheerleader and coming all the way from New Jersey for this. I would like to thank my boyfriend Max for allowing me to cover our apartment in papers that either need to be graded or are graded and need to be returned, for always listening to my crazy stories and never questioning why I'm still working, because he knows that my students will always come first. I would like to thank my longest friend, Corinne, for being there through thick and thin, for always motivating me even when I feel like giving up. I would like to thank my coworkers, Erica and Heather, always keeping me sane at work. I really don't know what I'd do without you guys. Heather, thank you for always collaborating with me and splitting our workload so that we can get things done quicker. Erica, thank you so much for supporting my classroom decisions, no matter what I decide, and for always giving me a place that I can feel heard. And last but definitely not least, thank you to the Smith family for raising not only an absolutely amazing daughter, Leah, but also for realizing and recognizing my hard work and dedication to being a teacher, and especially nominating me for this award. So thank you all.
Our next honoree this evening is Ronnie L. Madikel. He's a math teacher for grades 9 through 12 at John Bown High School, one of the largest high schools in Queens. Originally from the Philippines, Ronnie knows firsthand what it feels like to learn and adjust in a new environment. He strives every day to change the perspectives of students who might be facing challenges in his math classroom and to help them believe that mathematics is for everyone, not just for those who come by it easily. He is understandably proud that his remedial math classes have the most number of students passing the CUNY placement test. With at least 80% passing, his classes far surpass the CUNY average in New York City. Please welcome Ronnie L. Madical to accept his Blackboard Award.
As we always say in the Philippines, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, or good evening. We see students coming to our school every day, but we can't really measure the impact we've made until we hear them utter simple words of appreciation. And a bonus, when they will nominate you to an award like this. I thought that my only happiness as a teacher is to be part of my students' lives and teach them the wonders and intricacy of numbers. Thank you, New York family, for creating the Blackboard Awards for teachers and for recognizing our hard work. I am truly honored to be one of your recipients. I would like to share this award to my students. Some of them are here actually at the audience. To my fellow teachers, and of course to my United Federation of Film Educators family and friends. This award is for all of us. Thank you.
Congratulations, Ronnie. I draw the longest name of the night. Hint. Our next honoree is Katie Andermanis Vonapartis. Now, the good thing is it's long, but it flows right off the tongue. It's very nice. Thank you. A pre-K 3 teacher at St. Joseph's School, Yorkville on the Upper East Side, where she has enriched the lives of young learners for almost 30 years. In fact, Katie is now to the point in her career where she has the happy opportunity to teach the children of former students. Now, I had this phenomenon in my life. My wife went to the high school that my kids went to, and it was surreal when we got to that point. We came in, and she said, I had that teacher in school. And I said, really? She's still here. It's like, that's amazing. And then you find out that those are the best teachers. They've been doing it for forever. They know everything. They are super fantastic. So congratulations on a fantastic tenure. A passionate advocate for children's literacy, she says that teaching was always her calling and that a special joy of teaching for her is when an 8th grader comes up to her in the hallway and says, thank you for being my first educator. Please welcome Katie Andermanis Vonapartis to accept her Blackboard Award.
Good evening. First off, I'd like to say that I'm beyond honored and humbled to receive this award. It seems unfathomable to accept an award for something that you love to do. For me, that's teaching, very simply. I tell people all the time I can't act, I can't dance, I can't sing, but I can teach. So I'm happy to accept this award on behalf of all the incredible teachers that I've known over the years. I've learned that many of the best educators are far too humble to be recognized easily. A perfect example, this evening I opened up the booklet of honorees, and my favorite teacher, one of my favorite teachers was my kindergarten teacher. I learned to read in her class. Her daughter's being honored tonight. I said, what a small world this is for teachers. So hope Friends is coming up soon. I've been blessed to be a part of the St. Joseph's School Yorkville community for close to 30 years. Friends over the years have often asked me, why do you stay there? It's Catholic school, you get no money. Why don't you seek a different job opportunity? And my answer is always the same. St. Joseph's School is my family. This close-knit community is supportive beyond measure. The children, the families, the staff, My colleagues, they make every day a place of love and learning. None of us gets to be good at what we do without help. So I thought back to the people who've helped me along the way. They're the people who get me through every day. So at this time, I'd like to thank my support team that took time out of their day to celebrate with me tonight. Father Boniface, who's our pastor at St. Joseph's, Ms. Bernero, our school principal, my amazing colleagues that came tonight, former students, and families that have become lifelong friends. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support, but most importantly, I would like to thank my parents, who have been my strength and rocks throughout my entire career. I would not be here today without them. To my sisters, thank you for always letting me call me the general, because I always have to take control. And most importantly, I would like to thank my husband, George. He unconditionally accepted my marriage to St. Joseph's first. He's my person, and I'm eternally grateful to him every day. Who else would do all those extra Target runs for me all hours of the night? Needing laminating paper, printer paper, ink. And also thanks to Mia and Emmanuel for organizing tonight and providing me with a moment that I will not soon forget. Thank you again.
Our next honoree this evening is Cesar Elias Sanchez, fourth grade teacher at KIPP, Washington Heights Middle School. In addition to working with his students in the science lab, where they are outperforming the previous cohort on every major assessment with projections to exceed their New York State science test mastery proficiency of 90%, Cesar is also a loving father of 4 and a dedicated baseball coach at KIPP. However, what he is most proud of as an educator is his work as KIPP's advocacy point person, where he works with his students and their families to help them access advocacy resources like voter registration, citizenship classes, and connections to local politicians. Please join me in welcoming Cesar Elias Sanchez. She could come up too.
All right. Good evening. It's okay, baby. I would like to start by thanking my wife and my sisters. I was previously an accountant, and when I saw that they, I'm so sorry. So sorry. All right. I'll start all over again. So I would like to start by thanking my wife, my sisters. I was previously an accountant, and when I saw what we had to do every day, day in and day out, I realized that I was in the wrong profession. I wanted to see kids smile and learn and feel like I was making a difference, particularly in the lives of kids who look like me. I came to this country not speaking a word of English, and when I was 10 years old, and it is thanks to a few teachers in Boston public schools that I was able to master English and eventually earn a master's degree in this country. I say a few because my experience as an English language learner was not always a positive one in the classroom. There were teachers who saw me as a hoodlum in training, who told me I will never amount to much. My goal every day in the country, I'm so sorry. My goal every day is to counter the narrative that immigrant students receive every day. You are the American dream. You are worthy and you are deserving of everything this country has to offer, is the message that the students at the KIPP Washington Heights receive every day. I am so grateful to be part of such an amazing school. Thank you, Victoria, for being my right hand. She's here in the audience. She has helped me become the teacher that I am today. Thank you to the New York family for the recognition. Thank you to the amazing families who trust me with their kids every single day. Thank you so much.
There's always one star of the show, right? Thank you, Caesar. At this time, I'd like to welcome the United Federation of Teachers Special Representative for Academic High Schools, Anthony Klug, to represent our next award. The U of T is a trade union of teachers, nurses, and other professionals working in the New York City's 5 boroughs. They believe that teaching is both a calling and a profession. They advocate for competitive salaries and workplace practices and fight tirelessly for the policies and resources to make all New York City public schools great. Please join me in welcoming Anthony Klug.
Good evening, brothers and sisters, as we say in the union. It is my distinct honor to introduce our next honoree. Brian Pugh is here tonight representing Stephen T. Mather Building Arts and Craftsmanship High School in Hell's Kitchen. Brian teaches grades 9 through 12 at Stephen Mather and also serves as the Core Values Advocate Dean and the Faculty Advisor for the Urban Culture Club. He says that everything about his professional pursuits is enhanced by the presence of the vivacious teenagers he works with every day. Last year, when his students pointed out that there was almost no observance of Black History Month in their school, Brian turned the student forum and led Urban Culture Club for help. The club's theme for this school year has been societal invisibility, and the students spent all the fall months preparing to address this theme directly in February for Black History Month. All of this work helped to form a group of students who are united in their desire to address contemporary social justice issues and resulted in a robust Black History Month culminating colloquium, which were an overwhelming success. It is my humble honor to welcome Brian Pugh to accept his award.
Let's hear from the U of T, especially that praise, right? Thank you very much for this incredible honor. You know, I know that none of us as educators would be here tonight if it wasn't for our incredible students. And if we got into this profession for any other reason, at least in my case, we quickly learn that our passion for reading or writing or math or science or whatever it is must come second to our love for young people. So I want to thank my students who are here with me tonight. And more importantly than that, I want to thank them for their leadership and their collaboration. Right? If we think of ourselves as educators, as the boss, as the leader, as the one with everything there is to know, we're not going to get too far. When we turn to young people, however, for their expertise, for their brilliance, for all that they have to offer us, it's incredible what we will learn. And this year in the Urban Culture Club, we've had an incredible experience doing that. And it culminated not only in our Black History Month colloquium, but inside the walls of Sing Sing Prison, where our students brought their projects to the most invisible members of our society and showed them that we care and that we see them. And that is our job as educators, to see young people. Students, I love you, I see you, and I thank you for this honor tonight.
Our next honoree tonight, representing the Center School on the Upper West Side, some fans here tonight, is Michael Veve, who teaches grades 5, I hope I said it right, who teaches grades 5 through 8 in literature, writer's workshop, social studies, theater arts, and science, and also works in special education services. As Michael puts it, teaching is a craft woven of faith in the possibility of a better world, and teaching is a career built of hope in the potential of humanity. One project that Michael is especially proud of this year is a writer's workshop called Song of Myself, after the poem by Walt Whitman. In the class, students write poems about various aspects of their lives and collect the steps of the process in the book that they bind and keep in their portfolios. In the end, it's Michael's hope that his students see that talent, when it comes to writing, really comes down to effort, self-reflection, and the mindset that writing improves through time and time spent refining one's craft. Please join me in welcoming Michael to accept his Blackboard Award.
I had heard of the Blackboard Awards. Thank you so much. This is a tremendous honor, and I want to thank the family members and the students that nominated me for this. This is awe-inspiring. I'm in awe right now. I'd like to start talking about something that the author Kurt Vonnegut used to say. Kurt Vonnegut used to give commencement speeches, and he used to, in his public speaking appearances, he would say the following to his audiences. I want a show of hands after I ask this question. How many of you have had a teacher at any level of your education who made you more excited to be alive, prouder to be alive than you'd have previously believed possible? Hold up your hands, please. Now take down your hands and say the name of that teacher to someone and tell them what that teacher did for you. Vonnegut used to end that speech by saying, if that isn't nice, I don't know what is. I feel like I'm one of the luckiest human beings you've ever met. I have a beautiful daughter in the 3rd grade named Sonia, a wonderful son named Frank, who's now a 5th grader at Center School, and my wife Delia, who's a NYC DOE principal, and I have been together for the past 17 years. Before I thank anyone, I have to thank my family for the love and support they give me every day. Nothing feels impossible to someone who lives in a home that's filled with love like mine. If you were as lucky as I am and found yourself working in a school like the Center School with its brilliant collection of multi-talented and creative educators, you'd understand how humbled I am to be called down here to accept a teaching award that any one of my brilliant colleagues could certainly be accepting in my place. I count my colleagues amongst my greatest inspirations, and the intellectual energy and support of the Center School staff is something that sustains me on a daily basis. I can say without reservation that among my colleagues, I find some of the best friends I have in this life. When I moved into a career in teaching after a dozen years of being a chef, I was so fortunate to find as a mentor and a guide, Elaine Schwartz, the founder and director of the Center School. Elaine saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself, and through her guidance and patience, a lot of patience, and tutelage, and love, and support, and patience, and patience, and patience. I've been able to learn and hone my craft in a school where creativity and the arts and innovation are valued, where teachers are encouraged to learn and grow alongside students, and where we are always reminded that mistakes and errors and accidents, and most of all, questions, are the most vital points of the learning process. As a teacher at the Center School, I've had the opportunity to learn my craft alongside some of the best educators to ever stand in front of a chalkboard. And the staff of Center School was not assembled by accident. It's the vision of Elaine Schwartz that assembled us and which called us and who serves as our inspiration and source of encouragement on a daily basis. There's an unspoken element to teaching. Teaching is a craft woven of faith in the possibility of a better world. Teaching is a career built of hope and the potential of humanity. Teaching is a vision of love of a future that imagines a better world moving forward. As teachers, we invest time and care and patience and knowledge and love in our students. We certainly don't do this for the riches or for the summers off or because we can't do otherwise. We teachers, all of us, work at our schools because we recognize the value and importance of improving this world and for the sheer joy of watching our students grow and emerge as thinkers and empathetic self-advocates and surpass us, enriching the world that they will inherit. George Orwell once said that to see what is in front of one's nose requires a constant struggle. And that has never been more true than it is today. When in our country, so many cynically doubt the findings and empirical evidence of scientists, when so many snub journalism as fake news, preferring instead the cynical subterfuge of alternative facts, when our government speaks of building bigly walls and deportation centers and promotes monuments to intolerance, there's so much in the world to give us pause, particularly in these days when our world is in such tiny hands. When it seems that the lessons of history go forgotten and stubbornly unlearned on a daily basis, we are steering our students towards an America where the hard-fought victories of the Civil War and the Civil Rights Movement and the labor movement and the women's rights movement are in constant danger and are constantly contested. A world of shattered politics, a place where arguments proliferate unresolved like stuttering torrential rain spilling et cetera after et cetera. It is in us as a society, as Americans, as teachers, as students to do better than this. My dream in these times comes from the great privilege Center School affords me to stand behind and participate in sending out into the world brave and brilliant young people like the ones I've been fortunate enough to work with for the past 15 years. I want to personally thank Center School's finest, the artists, the activists, the athletes, the academics and actors who have led the table groups in our classes, the performances on our stages and our class discussions. They have been my mentors and my teachers and an endless source of inspiration and joy. Their work and art and voices have graced the hallways and the classrooms of our school. Their poetry will illuminate the bleakest corners of the future. I look into their faces and become filled with an immense hope that whatever our problems as a country, however divided and fractured this nation and this world may be, that the young people, my colleagues and I think of all of you as my colleagues, will leave Center School and all the schools armed with facts and information and context and the capacity to think critically and to question and the empathy to recognize the grandeur and essential truths of humanity. And most of all, they leave our schools with hearts that will bear witness to the world and speak of loving solution in the place of apathy, of division, of hate. I have one last thing to say. I want to thank my children, Frank and Sonia, and my students, all of them, for being the best teachers I could have ever asked for. When I think of my greatest teachers, I speak all of your names in my heart. Thank you for the many lessons you've taught me, for filling my life with love and with a greater meaning, and for letting me know that going forward, this broken world will mend and become a better place. Thank you all for making me more excited to be alive and prouder to be alive than I had previously believed possible. If that isn't nice, I don't know what is.
Thanks, Michael, for that beautiful speech. At this time, I would like to welcome Roxana Reed, the founder and director of Smart City Kids, to present our next award. Smart City Kids' mission is to help families clarify and identify the most ideal fit schools for their student by providing expert advice, guidance, and emotional support during the admissions process. Please join me in welcoming Roxana Reed.
Good evening, everyone. I want to first thank the Blackboard Awards. Smart City Kids has been a member since its inception. It's a very important award. We hold it with great regard. My mother was a teacher for almost 30 years. I think of all the things that I do every year, this is my favorite, absolute favorite event because it honors those of you who, in silence, shift the trajectory of children's lives, and that's meaningful work. So I want to thank you for having me here tonight. Tonight, we're going to honor Grace Yang, who's a math teacher and a science teacher for grades 1 to 3 at Basis School on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. After many years in special education, in the special education classroom, this year was Grace's first as a subject expert teacher of only math and science. When she realized that her students' understanding of subjects was based on mostly memorizing facts, she committed herself to deepening her students' understanding of math and science. In moving beyond facts and figures, Grace and her students were able to have a rich discussion about using logic and problem-solving strategies. At the end of the day, she's the most grateful to be able to create a joyful, engaging learning environment in which she can share her passion for math and science with her students. Please welcome Grace Yang to accept the Blackboard Awards.
Thank you. I'm honored to be receiving this award tonight. I'm truly grateful to have had the opportunity this year to work at Basis Manhattan, where there is such a strong collaborative culture. Without my amazing colleagues, I really wouldn't be up here tonight. They are always eager to help and are just the most supportive co-teachers ever. I have learned so much from them and have become a better teacher under their mentorship. I also want to take this time to thank my friends and family. They've been there through all my teaching ups and downs, especially my best friend Casey, who has been there for me in all 13 years of my teaching, as well as my husband, who has had to put up with me while I'm doing my master's degree in educational leadership. He keeps on encouraging me when I really want to give up. And last, I want to give a shout out to my son, who is always willing to listen to my lessons. He's not afraid to keep it real and tell me if one of my lessons is going to bomb in my class or if my kids are going to really love it. So thank you again, everyone, for being here tonight.
So I told you earlier that this night is kind of special, and you're starting to get a sense of exactly that. We could go on all evening long. Earlier, I had the opportunity to introduce the longest name. Well, certainly this next one has to be the nicest name. Hope Friend. Fantastic, right? Is a sixth grade English language arts teacher at Isaac Newton Middle School for Math and Science in East Harlem. Hope takes great pleasure in the opportunities she gets to convey her own personal enthusiasm for new books to her students, and especially to those who have not previously experienced the joy of embarking on a literary journey. One such journey had Hope's sixth grade ELA students reading a novel featuring a main character with a physical disability. Her students hungered for more background information, so she provided research opportunities focusing on assistive technology, disability etiquette, and cerebral palsy. Finally, Hope invited Sarah Kim, a Barnard College student with cerebral palsy, to come and meet the students. During Sarah's visit, 85 sixth graders, clutching index cards featuring questions that they had generated, listened with rapt attention as their guest shared the details of her struggles, both personal and in her academic life. They posed questions, engaged in emotional dialogue with her, and even asked for selfies and hugs at the end of the visit. How cool is that? Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Hope Friend as she accepts her Blackboard Award.
Okay. I've been a teacher for 31 years, and I honestly can't imagine being or doing anything else. I'm very tired every evening, and I do go to sleep before 9. But it's a good tired, a worn-out teacher tired, and I'm pleased to be here today before I fall asleep, to be celebrated for something I love doing. If you're a teacher, you know that you have a job that requires you these days to be more exciting than technology, more exciting than social media, more enthralling than cafeteria gossip, and that's a challenge I take very seriously. When my students arrive in September, they have no idea what to expect from middle school, so my job is to catch them off guard, and that is what I try to do. No one is more surprised than they are to find out that regardless of what they might have experienced in the past, they are smart and capable and have a voice. They never see it coming. They never expect to become readers. They never expect to become engulfed in literature, and they never expect to become writers and people with opinions. It's so exciting for me, probably more exciting than it is for them. I want to thank my husband, Bruce Levinson, a high school teacher at High School for Health Professions, for listening to more tales of the sixth grade classroom than anyone should ever have to. I want to thank him for knowing the names of all my students before Thanksgiving, so I don't have to say, you know, that's the one who, and he says, yes, I know. And I want to thank him for making me realize that the bad days are really not as bad as I say they are, and that the good days are actually great. I want to thank my principal, Florin Puris, for running a tight ship while simultaneously believing in me enough to allow me to row my own boat. I want to thank my assistant principal, Jane Novat, a colleague of more years than I choose to discuss, who has accepted the daunting burden of listening to me share my many, many thoughts and concerns on an almost daily basis. She's a really good listener. I want to thank my Isaac Newton Middle School colleagues for being there every day to plan and discuss and banter and debate and support and argue, no matter what. I want to thank my City Year team members for giving me a pair or 2 pair or 3 pair of extra hands. Wouldn't be able to manage without them. I want to thank the parents who trust every day that I am making the right decisions for their children, and the students who trust me to teach them and want to learn what I have to share. And finally, I want to thank the Blackboard Awards for recognizing my achievements in a field I love. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Hope. I would like to welcome Wendy Federico, educational consultant and special needs advisor and advocate at Smart City Kids, who also has many years of experience working in New York City's education landscape, to present our next award. Please join me in welcoming Wendy.
Thank you, Jonathan. I would like to mention, similar to your wife, my daughter and I had the same kindergarten teacher who went on. I had her her first year of teaching. My daughter had her last year of teaching, and she went on to become a teacher mentor and was one of my favorite teachers. So we shared that extraordinary experience. Our next honoree is Jeffrey Bradley, an early childhood teacher at ABC Mary Katz Castle School on the Upper East Side, where he's worked as a Rainbow Room teacher for 35 years. Jeff loves that he gets to spend his days making preschool magical for the students at Mary Katz, and takes great pride in directing the annual holiday concert, and in the fact that because the school is small, he has the chance to wear many hats during the day. Sometimes, Jeff is reading with the 2-year-olds at early drop-off or building obstacle courses for them to enjoy on a rainy day. Other times, he's leading a marching band with children around the school or in the kitchen making potato latkes. I would also say that this is an extraordinarily wonderful and fortuitous coincidence, because Jeffrey was my grandson's teacher at Mary Katz Castle and absolutely loved him. And when I told my grandson, who's 7, yesterday that I was going to see Jeffrey, he remembered the holiday show and he remembered the music. So it's a great honor for me to present Jeffrey Bradley with his Blackboard Award.
So good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank Family Magazine and the Blackboard Awards for this wonderful acknowledgement. And congratulations to the other recipients as well. Also, a special thank you to Mia and Emmanuel for the help up until now, because I corresponded with Mia several times, so she put me on the right path to get this all taken care of. I accept this award on behalf of all the children and all the families that have come through Mary Katz. It's truly an honor to be a preschool teacher for so long, and at this point in my career, to be acknowledged like this, because we don't do this for the awards. We do it for the graham crackers and the good and all the great snacks. So anyway, this day is not really about me. It's about all the children and all the families, and it's very rare you get an opportunity to thank people. So I choose to thank my staff, and I'll do that in one second. I want to thank Gretchen Buckenhaus, the executive director. Yes, indeed. The executive director of the Association to Benefit Children and Mary Katz, because she's always been my inspiration. And we've been to the moon and back, and I can't wait to go to Mars with her. So thank you, Gretchen. She's not here tonight. But Linda Wazik and Mimi Broner are two of my directors who I've known for so long, and our children have grown together. They're here tonight, so I want to thank them in the audience. Thank you guys for coming. Yes? I also want to thank all the wonderful teachers, and they're here as well, the Rainbow Room staff, and others who have always been my inspiration in helping us out at school and whatnot. It's been amazing. I want to thank my family, my wife who's here right now. And she, of course, you know, what can I say? My wife was the first lay teacher of Monsignor Scanlon High School, and that's quite an event for me. She also teaches at Cardinal Hayes High School now as the first female administrator. So I'm surrounded by powerful women, and that's right, the women are smart. Yeah. Anyway, and they keep me motivated, and I'm happy to be blessed by all these things. And ending, my daughters are here today as well. My daughter Janelle, my biological daughter, and my other daughter that I adopted on my own, Olivia Lopez Balboa, here as well. It's special because they're both 25. They've reached a tremendous landmark in their life, and My daughter turned 25 last month, but Olivia is here tonight, and today is her birthday, and she chose to come and spend it with me. So I'm going to end this, and you guys are going to help me out by singing Happy Birthday to Olivia. Are you guys ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Olivia. Happy birthday to you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Our next honoree tonight is Lucas Shieldnut, first grade and French curriculum teacher at École Internationale de New York. At EINY, Lucas has been involved with a variety of engaging and dynamic projects, like educational trips to China. Is that with the first graders? And subject areas, projects involving robotics, concerts, science fairs. But what makes him most proud as a teacher is teaching first grade how to read. In the French program, Lucas's students start reading in first grade, and he notes that it's always amazing when students are able to read their first books alone in front of the class. It's these moments when young learners are proud of themselves and there are many emotions flowing through the class that reminds him why he chose to teach and gives him deep sense of accomplishment. Welcome, Lucas, please.
Good evening. Great speeches, guys. Thank you for the pressure. Thank you. I don't even have notes. So I worked at EINY, now the École, for 2 years, and I'm the French teacher, so you heard this, I think. And first of all, I want to thank New York Family Magazine for this award from this organization. And in addition, I would like to thank every person who voted for me. Thank you very much. I'm really proud and grateful for this award. It's almost the end of the year, and it was an amazing year, and many thanks to all the people who gave me the opportunity to work in New York, and for my wonderful colleagues who I work with every day. Thank you very much. And of course, I don't forget my wife. I love you, and thank you to support me. Thank you, and thanks to my family. Thank you all.
Our next honoree, Kristen Parness, teaches honors forensics, drama, and leadership classes to grades 9 through 12 at the Bronx High School of Science. But beyond her role as an educator in the classroom, Kristen also works day in and day out to enrich her school community as coordinator of student affairs. In this capacity, Kristen works actively with students involved in the school news program, the Student Government Leadership Cabinet, and the League of Presidents board members. As she puts it, she gets to see students take their ideas from the drawing board all the way to full execution. Oftentimes, they have to work on these ideas with school leaders, teachers, the Parents Association, the Alumni Association, and local organizations or businesses. It's rewarding, challenging, and exciting to support them and guide them, as Kristen says. Please join me in welcoming Kristen Parness as she accepts her Blackboard Award.
Hi, everyone. Wow, thank you so much. Yes, thank you, New York family, and all the sponsors for this lovely event. Thank you, Emmanuel and Mia. I didn't meet you yet. I was very late. But really appreciate the honor and being here tonight. And I just want to shout out Artea, Tessa, and Babu, my 3 superstar students who trekked all the way from the Bronx to support me here today. So I really appreciate that. They're missing their own friend's senior awards night. We had a conflicting event tonight to be here with me, so I really appreciate that. And yes, truly, I am just so thankful to be here among the recipients tonight. What amazing educators, and to be surrounded by them and honored with them is my honor. And they all know this, but I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I can relate to what some of the other teachers were talking about. You know, there's a quote, and Dumbledore says, you know, age is foolish and forgetful when it underestimates youth. And it's something I really try to remember every day because, you know, we're expected to have the answers, we're expected to have the plan, and to be organized and ready to go and have all of these things to offer, but it truly is the students day in and day out that have so much, that I feel like they just give so much to me. And, Veve was talking about, you know, the current society and the times, and you know, it's easy to lose hope. And I look at my students and I think, you know, there is hope, and these guys are it, you know. So I'm just so thankful for them, to see how hard they work every day and to see their ideas. You know, they raised, my students raised $4,000 this year for the hurricane victims in the first ever school-wide bake sale. And they collected 3,000 pounds of food for City Harvest this year in our can drive. And they're just rock stars, and they're advocates for these causes that they really believe in. And I feel like all I do is really just cheerlead for them. So the fact that they say I inspire them when every day they make it just a joy to go to work, which is something not many people can say. I'm just so thankful. So thank you guys. I love you. And you know, my husband and my 2 kids, Warner and Wyatt, who are still very little, I always say this, but I hope that they grow up to be the type of leaders and the type of community members that my students are. And you know, they give me hope. And so thank you for having me, and thank you guys again so much.
Congratulations, Kristen. Where else can you get a Dumbledore reference that becomes powerful? Well done. And Kristen, if you ever do lose hope, she's right here, 4th row back. Our penultimate honoree this evening is Mike Mellon from the East Side Middle School. Mike teaches theatrical collaboration to grades 6 through 8 and takes great delight in seeing his middle school students come out of their shells, work together, and ultimately present themselves professionally on stage. This year, many of his first-time performing students participated in a citywide Shakespeare competition. Of the total participating groups, only 2 were middle schools and the rest were high school. Mike was especially proud to see his young middle school students genuinely supporting and enthusiastic about their competitors' performances, and performing with the same caliber as those students who were older than themselves. In short, Mike loves teaching theater because he sees firsthand how important it is for middle school age kids to be able to express themselves not just individually, but as a team. Please welcome Mike Mellon to accept his Blackboard Award. Got it.
Wow. I am so humbled to be in the same room as all these other amazing teachers that we have seen tonight. It really is unbelievable. When I got Mia's email, I thought it was a joke. I thought my students were like messing with me because they're fun and they do that. I had to take my wife to be like, no, this is a thing. I was like, oh, okay. As many people have already said, we teach for our students. Talked about the state of the world and many other things, and they are our hope. And them learning that it is about the we instead of the me is the most important thing to me as a teacher. So being able to teach theater with my students and try to give them a space of safety where they can express themselves creatively and listen to each other is the most important thing for me, and that's why I do it. So thank you all for being here and for celebrating each other, because we need that continued hope, and it is super important. Thank you for my students and the parents and my wife, Ellen. I think my education collaborator, Kate, is somewhere here. There are so many people, and people have talked so much, and your speeches were all amazing. And again, thank you all. Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Debbie Liscalzo, a nursery school teacher at Our Lady of Mercy Catholic Academy in Forest Hill, Queens. As an educator working with young students in their early years of development, one of Debbie's most treasured experiences is getting to see the growth of her students make from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. By the time the summer rolls around, she notes, it is amazing to see how independent and resourceful the children have become. This school year, Debbie also set out to emphasize a sustainable and green planet, starting with her own classroom. All year, she has been teaching her students the importance of recycling unwanted materials: egg cartons, toilet paper rolls, cereal boxes, and milk cartons for future projects. Debbie takes great pride in seeing how excited her students are when they come to school in the morning with a used paper towel roll that they can repurpose in class. Please welcome Debbie Liscalzo.
I was so hoping to be first. And by the way, that's my daughter, who's my co-teacher, who I also taught. I'm here today to offer my sincerest gratitude to the many people without whom this experience wouldn't have been possible. The children, parents, colleagues have provided me with memories I will cherish forever. The accomplishments of the children bring me so much happiness. There is no other path I would have chosen that brings me as much joy as teaching. Lastly, I would like to thank my 3 children, my sisters, family, and friends for giving me the strength and encouragement to be the best I can be. My final words come from this gift given to me. 100 years from now, it will not matter what my bank account was, the sort of house I live in, the kind of car I drive, but the world may be different because I was important in the life of a child. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, and many thanks and congratulations to all of our honorees this morning. One more big round of applause. We at Family Media are honored to recognize all the great work you do for the children of New York City and for our future leaders and our future. Of course, I'd like to thank again this evening's sponsors, the United Federation of Teachers, NYIT, TF Cornerstone, and our friends at Smart City Kids, as well as friends, family members, fellow educators, and education professionals here tonight supporting our teachers. A child's education takes a village. You are all living proof of that. Thank you so much for your attention this evening. Thank you to our presenters for fantastic and powerful stories. This evening never gets old, and tonight will be another special one to remember. So good night, good luck with the final couple of weeks of school, and again, thank you so much. If I could have all of the honorees come up for one group photo, I would greatly appreciate. There's still some hors d'oeuvres and drinks outside, so thank you all very much.